Imagine if 70% of women decided not to give birth for the next 30 years. Imagine the state of the world then. The thing is that they don't want us to know the power that we carry. It's just so sad that everything that women give the world today is taken from us by force, by emotional blackmail. So we are convinced that if you don't have a husband or you haven't had a kid, that there's something wrong with you. We've been convinced that there's no greater joy a woman can experience than having a baby. But who does having a baby really benefit? It benefits the men and it benefits the society. You are literally giving birth to another taxpayer. You're literally giving birth to the workforce of the next generation. It's not some glory to you. And before you tell me that, oh, I feel joy when I have my baby. Yes, that's science's way of making sure you take care of that baby and nurture it for the baby to then become a human being that's beneficial to society. So all the things that we've been convinced to want, having a husband, women serve men, having children, women nurture children. So everything that we've been told that we need to have just for people to respect us is just society's way of using us to advance society and then the coming generation, and we get nothing for it. Not even the men we do it for respecting us.
So let's flip this real quick. Just imagine if men decided to take the exact same notion that she took, right? Imagine if men were like, yo, we feel as though that the jobs that we do, that we get no thankfulness for, right? We go through the sewer systems, right? Waste management, picking up trash and garbage, janitorial services, dealing with dynamite or caustic chemicals from barges and boats and different things like that, working in radiation plants and working on electric wiring and all this other type of stuff, right? Imagine some of the most dangerous, back-breaking, physical laboring jobs. And men were like, you know what, this is, it's very much thankless. Women don't really care. They don't really respect us. They don't really acknowledge us. What if we would just, we should just stop right now for 30 years to see how the world will turn out. The world will stop moving. The world as we know it today would stop moving. Because for the fact that we know that, yeah, some people are going to say, well, we got women out here that, that do those. There's not enough. And there will never be enough. There will never be enough women out here that would want to replace men in these back-breaking physical labor jobs, and some of which, mind you, such as working on, a lot of these out in the ocean, right, dealing with the oil and drilling and different stuff of that nature. There's a lot of jobs out there which are life-threatening, and this is why men get paid so much money, especially if they're working in the ocean. Those guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars because of how labor intensive, backbreaking, and how they are risking their lives. And they're basically they're away from society. They're out there living in the ocean for, several months to a year, however it basically works. Right? You don't have women out here. You don't have enough women out here that want to specifically go out there and do those type of jobs. Women do not want to do back-breaking physical labor. So I need people to miss me with the anecdotal, things that people are going to normally say, oh, women are strong, women can do anything. Yeah, women can do anything, but does that mean that they want to do it? Exactly. They don't. If you have a woman that has the strength of Hercules, does that mean that she actually wants to be Hercules? Does that mean that she actually wants to go out there lifting buildings and moving this and moving? No, she's going to want to be dainty. She's going to want to go out there and wear a sundress. She's going to want to go out on dates. She's going to want a guy to be able to lift and carry her and do this and do that and all this other. Like, come on. Like I said, people gotta be realistic when it deals with these things. And the other aspect that I want to point out as well too, from what it is that the woman is stating, that it's a thankless thing, and women do it all the time, and women don't receive respect. There's that goes on both sides. Let's just put it that way. I like to make things as even and as balanced as possible. If you think that you don't receive any type of love and respect for nurturing and caring for a child, then your optics are completely screwed. First of all, that child is the first and the main one to love you the utmost because you gave birth to that child. So for you to say that you don't get any type of thanks, any type of gratitude when that child is basically waking up every day, looking directly at you, sitting up there saying, "Mommy, I love you. Mommy, you are beautiful. Mommy, I'm happy to be." If you're sitting up here telling me that you're not getting any type of gratitude, no type of thanks, I'm not sure where your mind or your frame of thinking specifically is. The other thing I want to put directly into that, to say that men don't respect it. What men are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Who are you around that is, in a sense, giving that off directly to you? Because in normal means, guys respect the jobs that people can do that they cannot. Guys have that's men work that way. I'm not sure, like I said, women aren't tuned that way, but men work that way. We respect people who can do jobs that we can't. It's like, yo, that's awesome. Like, you can actually do this. Like, yo, I can never sit up here and do something like this. And then it goes into the whole thing of being inquisitive and asking questions, and how does this work and how does that work, and that whole type of thing. So there is a type of respect that is there. It could be loud or it can be a silent type of respect, but it's still respect all the same. It's the exact same thing. The same type of respect that I listed there is the exact same respect that men have for other men. So again, it's a little bit baffling to me where you have a woman, and I want to note that this woman clearly is not a Black American woman, even though she clearly has a front directly on at this moment in time, and it's a bit crooked. Not sure who specifically did the hair or how that was going, but again, people got to also pay attention to a lot of the optics in what it is that you have a lot of these folks out here deciding that they want to make these talking points. You have a lot of folks out here that feel that this is their point of view and this is the way that the world should work and how people should go about things. And a lot of these folks out here who want to give the optics as if they are Black American are not that. Because some people would just look at this and be like, this is a Black woman talking. No, this is an African woman talking. This is an African woman with African woman problems dealing with African men. And I would really love it if women from specific areas of the world would specify on the men of which that they are talking about. She can't talk about Black American men. Let's just get that straight. And she wanted to talk about men in general. Chances are very great she don't know white men. She knows African men, or the men of her community, the men that she was raised around, the men that she grew up with, the men who raised her, who are part of her life, that she sees in every single day life. She can't really speak on any other men directly out there. Even if she dated a few of them, she still can't speak on that, because that's not enough, right? Of a whole testing proof to really come to that type of a conclusion. So at this moment in time, she's really just talking, directly out of her backside. And these are a lot of the feminist talking points that a lot of men and many others talk directly about. And people have to understand that there are different waves of feminism. Because some people, whenever you happen to say that, this is feminism, people want to sit up and, you're just talking about No, there's different waves. There's different waves. At certain points, things didn't make sense. And then it got to a point where stuff started not to make sense. Because at the end of the day, irregardless on how it is that she feels, everybody has a job, everybody has a role at the end of the day. You as a solo person can decide that this is what you don't want to sit up there and do. But to try to go out here and state that all women need to have your exact same perspective is 1000% stupid. Like I said, you have a lot of things that have more than likely put your mental in that type of frame where you're just like, I'm not going to be a mother, I'm not going to be a wife, I'm not going to be this, I'm not going to be that, and all this other type of stuff, right? But again, those are things that you went through. You need therapy. You need to go have some conversations. And I also want to point out the fact of, again, people have a very short-term memory. There was a thing called the Georgia Stone at one moment in time on this planet, and it was destroyed. And it stated that the world's population is to be no more, no less than 500 million people. 500 million people, which meant that the greater majority of the population of the world would somehow get snapped directly away and not exist. And that feeds her narrative. What she's trying to push directly onto other women is feeding directly into that whole narrative with the Georgia Stone. Like, us as women, we just need to come together and we just need to stop having kids. Well, no problem. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Because for whatever reason, a lot of people tend to think that if that were to happen, that there's going to be certain things happen. I'm not going to say that there aren't going to be certain negative things that are going to happen, because there's always negative things that happen. But one of the things that is going to get propelled and pushed forward are the AI, computer, whatnot incubators that they'll start to have to produce kids. That's what they'll start to do. So the moment in time that you have women out here basically stating that, we don't want to sit up there and do that, science is going to basically step in. That's all that's going to happen. The science always has an area of which that they can fill in the gaps with something in order to keep the whole system working. So like I said, people can decide to play whatever games that they want to sit up there and play, and then they're going to sit up there and get mad about it. Let it be a moment in time that science comes out with a foolproof way that women are not needed to sit up there and have kids. You don't have to carry kids for 9 months. We can just basically put the two cells together and have the child develop in, some type of computer lab or room, some type of bag, incubator, whatever you want to sit up there and call it. And no fuss, no muss, none of that. I promise you, at a point in time, you'll have fields of women around the world. You have some women rejoicing, like, yeah, this is great. This is very awesome. And then you have other women that will feel a certain type of way, as if they are being replaced. And it's not really like you're being replaced. You have a substitute. You have something basically stepping directly in, because society needs to keep going with or without you. So if you opt that you want to step directly out of that, science, AI, computers, robotics, whatever you want to call it, is going to step in to fill out that role and those gaps. Like I said, humanity is going to keep going. Because nobody is going to decide that, we want to start looking like Korea by the time 2030 comes in. We want to start looking like Japan. We want to have a population of, not having, we want to have a decade where we're not going to have, pre-K, Head Start, kindergartners. What? That don't make no sense. That makes no sense. Like I said, you want to play these games, go over there and look at how Korea, go look at the Asian countries and see how that worked out for a lot of folks directly out there. Look at how the government is basically working, because a lot of women don't tend to understand it. All right, cool. You don't want to sit up there and do it. Okay. So the next result is there's going to be an influx before we get to the AI and all this stuff. Then you're going to have an influx of other men from other countries coming directly in, basically substituting, because we may not have enough men for the workforce. And then if we have those men directly come in and those men want to have kids, guess what? They're not going to go for you. They're going to bring in women of other cultures, other ethnicities that are not you. Therefore, closing out that end of the dating market, the dating pool, the women getting married, having boyfriends, relationships, and all this other type of stuff, for the end result to basically be for all of those women that decided that they didn't want to do this, they are going to be replaced and pretty much washed away by the incoming groups of women that are willing to do and step in and take on that role. So like I said, there's a variety of things that can happen, that can take place before we have to go to a science or an AI driven, type of facility, in order to start, producing kids, aka Cabbage Patch Kids. There's a long line that we can go through. That is not good for anybody, because again, if the moment in time, let's say that this happens in the United States, and 50 or 60% of the population of women decide that they don't want to, have kids, get married, and all this other type of stuff. Okay, cool, fine, no problem. So men are just going to either start bringing in women from other countries, or they're going to start just leaving this country. And then the moment in time that happens, now you're going to have less men here that are going to be willing to basically protect, willing to work, willing to carry on the everyday of every day when it deals with the United States. And now you're open for any and whoever else to pull up and do what it is that they want to do, because there is no protection. So the end result is this. At the end of the day, I've always had the belief that everybody has a role to play directly within society, right? Women need men, men need women, and we both have jobs that neither of us can do by ourselves, right? Men cannot produce kids. We can't produce and bear kids, and women cannot do the exact same hard labor intensive stress, back-breaking work that men can do consistently because our bodies are built differently. Again, I don't care how people want to feel directly about it. Like, oh no, women can do anything. If women can give birth, then they can do any job that a man can do and better. Go out there and knock yourself right on out. Knock yourself right on out and see how that works out for your uterus. See how that works out for the longevity of your bones when it deals with your hips and your joints and everything of the sort. See how that deals with your stress. Like I said, we deal with things vastly differently because we are built differently for different purposes. Like I said, you got too many people out here trying to muddy the waters and trying to make it seem like everybody and everything is the same thing, and it's not. It really is not. There are differences for very strategic reasons, especially when it deals with nature. And human beings are part of said nature, no matter how much it is that people want to rewrite these things or say that certain things don't exist. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that's stated in the comment description below. As always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.